As land carers, the weather and the climate can be a wicked master. Now, better understanding of what's going on in the atmosphere above our heads won't actually give us control over the conditions, but what it will do is aid in decision making around our projects. In its rawest form, our weather is created by the sun's uneven heating of the Earth's surface. Hot air in the tropics rises and cold air at the poles sinks. The Earth's rotation and axis, combined with the interaction of hotter and colder air in the atmosphere and oceans, is what creates a complex pattern of wind, cloud and rainfall. Over millennia, this has resulted in the world's weather, climate and circulation patterns. In New South Wales, the year-on-year variation in the climate is mostly influenced by three key drivers. One is the El Niño-Southern Oscillation Index, there's also the Indian Ocean Dipole, and the third is the Southern Annular Mode. All three have a direct influence on temperature and rainfall across the state, as they can work independently or together to weaken, strengthen and even change the direction of the large-scale winds that flow through the atmosphere. These changes can determine the weather conditions over an extended period of time. The El Niño and Southern Oscillation are related to the natural movement of warmer and colder waters in the Pacific and Indian Oceans. And when the waters and atmosphere above influence each other, a process known as coupling occurs. Now, the result usually leads to excessively wet and cooler conditions or substantially dry and warmer. If there is no coupling though, the impacts can actually be minimal. The Southern Annular Mode is a shorter term climate pattern that shifts from one phase to another over a period of weeks to months. It's based around the movement of the westerly wind belt that circulates Antarctica. Its changing position influences the strength and the position of cold fronts and also low pressure systems, which result in increased or decreased rainfall. Although these systems don't always combine together, when their phases are in the same mode, say wet or dry, they will have a dramatic influence on weather conditions across the ocean basin, so not just our state or the entire nation. In the context of land care, it means we're going to see more extremes and frequency of natural disasters and other impacts. Now, this includes flood, drought, high winds, storms, reductions or increase in rainfall, less or more severe frosts, and also more heat waves. Now, this is going to influence production decisions on farm and also the design of biodiversity restoration projects. Now, there are also a range of nature-based measures that can reduce the negative impacts of climate and climate change. And of course, long-term storage of carbon in soil or in vegetation is a really important tool for the mitigation of climate change. Now, there are two websites that I would highly recommend that you become familiar with. One is the Bureau of Meteorology's Australian climate pages. They talk about the El Niño, the La Niña, also the Southern Annular Mode. It tells you what they are, how they work, and how they vary from time to time. But the other is also the NACLIM Regional Climate Change Predictions. This is also a Bureau of Meteorology site. And this suggestion is that it will allow you to talk about these topics as a discussion point within land care groups and, more importantly, through outside networks as well.